Hi everybody, I'm Kath Lloyd. Excuse me, I'm just trying to get something straight here. I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change, and it's 8 o'clock or just after, and it's Let's Talk. And tonight I'm going to be introducing to you the fifth C in the seven C's to keeping your normal, and the fifth C is commitment. So as we've been through the process, we've been looking at, I've just got them written down here so that I don't get confused, is choices, courage, clarification, control, and now we're going to be looking at commitment. Okay, so why commitment? Well, when you go through the change curve, okay, and some major change has happened in your life, or that you've been thrust into. Hi Anne, lovely to see you here. The change curve will start off in the first phase, which is around shock and denial. Okay, the second phase, hi Yvonne, lovely to see you here. The second phase is then going down to anger and depression, which is what we've been talking about. But now what we're going to be talking about is how you start to change that curve to go in an upward movement so that you go into the acceptance and integration section of the change curve. Okay, so when we think about the word commitment, we are talking about things like to entrust in yourself, to pledge oneself to something. Okay, and commitment can come in all sorts of different forms. I mean, the traditional commitment one is around relationships, isn't it? And marriage is one. You know, we hear a lot of people who are saying that, oh, you know, the commitment level is too great for marriage, or the same with having children about commitment. But actually commitment comes in all sorts of different forms. It'll come in like lifestyle change, such as you know, perhaps giving up smoking or drinking or chocolate, or that's perhaps one of mine, or gaining great fitness levels or reducing weight. And you know, it's all about commitment. Hi Ross, lovely to see you here. Okay, so why do we need commitment? Well, we need commitment so that we can get through that change, so that we can drive ourselves to get to where we want to be, or as you know, I'm always suggesting to people, and what is always suggested to me by my mentor, is start with your aim, start with your end goal in mind. Okay, so if you know what your end goal is, then you're going to have a better understanding of what is needed to be able to get to that end goal. Okay, so when we're talking about commitment levels, where is your commitment level to the change that you're trying to make in your life? Because this is important to understand. All right. But it isn't just about the commitment level. Hi Alison, lovely to see you here. It's also about your enthusiasm level as well. Because if you've got a higher commitment level and a higher enthusiasm level, you are in a better position to be able to meet that end goal. All right. Now, but it's also important to mention that when you are working on a change in your life, or whether you have been thrust into some form of change in your life, the journey isn't going to be a smooth ride, as we know. It's going to perhaps be very up and down. If you have decided to make a change, some form of change in your life, and you've got good enthusiasm, it's going to probably start off a very steep incline with lots of notice of change, and then as you progress, it might start leveling off a little bit, or you might start to find a decline. And this is often talked about in January, when people have made their New Year's resolutions, and by the time they get to, they're doing great for the first few weeks, and then by the time they get to, about the third or the fourth week, 75% of people have dropped off their commitment level of wanting that change, and they've gone back to their old ways. And that is because they perhaps haven't had the right goal in mind, or they haven't got the right commitment levels, or they haven't got the right support. Or it might be they're not noticing the benefits quickly enough, which might mean that they haven't really put the right actions in place to be able to gain the benefits and to commit and to boost their commitment levels as they go. Okay, so with commitment, the more commitment we have, the better the outcome. All right, so when you thrust into something that has been unexpected, like a major change in your life, it can be very easy to wallow around in self-pity, or to sit around and not know what to do about it. And so then you're going to stay in that bottom of your change curve. All right. And nobody can make that change for you. All right. They can support you all that they can. They can give you all the advice that is good for you. But you've got to be in the right place in your head, in the right place in your heart, to be able to grow that commitment, to develop that commitment, so that you can move up into the phase 3 of your change curve. Okay, so where commitment comes in is very much based on where you are at in your journey. Are you at the start of that journey of change, or are you further through the journey? If you are further through the journey and your commitment levels are waning, then it's really important to be able to see the progress that you have already made, because once you notice the progression, that will boost your enthusiasm, which will then boost your commitment levels to be able to carry on. All right, because everybody's on a different journey, and everybody's journey is at a different rate, because it all depends from where you have started. All right, so really, really important. So I talked a little bit about your commitment rate, all right, and where you're at with your commitment. And what I recommend and talk to my clients about is between a scale of 0 and 100%. All right, so if you are at 75% commitment or above, hi Marlene, I've just noticed that you've logged on. I wasn't ignoring you, sorry. If you are at 75% or above with your commitment level, all right, you are more likely to make your end goal, a reality. All right, if you're not at that 75%, then it's what will help you be more enthusiastic. So is it about going back and looking at your journey so far? Is it about and celebrating where you have got to? Is it about finding a little bit of extra support to help you encourage you and grow that commitment and that enthusiasm level? Or it might be about you haven't got the right end goal. All right, perhaps you haven't visualized it accurately. All right, perhaps you're not really feeling it. All right, and this is where a little visualization exercise that I take a lot of my clients through, called the VACOG walk, that I learned from another great mentor a few years back, really, really works. And this is something that I can go through once we finish the 7Cs, because it's a great visualization tool. I use it myself, and I encourage my clients to use it as well. Okay, so where do you get started then? Okay, so where do you get started when you're stuck? That's the basic thing, and it's about starting with stop. You know, this is going back to one of my very first Let's Talks, and it's start with stop, and it's about just stopping and giving yourself time to really think about, you know, where you're at now, where you want to be, and which is the right way for you to get there. And this is about taking a breather. It's taking time. You know, is there a great huge rush to keep going at something that might be the wrong direction for you, or, you know, at a pace that is too fast for you to get to your end goal? And it's about observing your thoughts and your feelings around it, all right? Because it might be that you've got the right end goal, but it might be that your feelings and your thoughts around it are sabotaging you from meeting that. All right, and then P is for positive action. All right, so what positive action can you take to increase your commitment levels? And it's important to really channel those positive actions down. And where I like people to start is just with one action, which is the best action, the smallest action that you can take to reap the biggest outcome. All right, because if you think about it, you know, one little tiny action will grow and grow and grow. And this is one of the great things that Anthony Robinson talks about, you know, about when he was learning to play golf. All right, that he realized that he felt way off with, you know, where the ball was actually going, but the problem was actually a few millimeters off with how he was hitting the ball. Perhaps just the position of his club, the position of his feet could be millimeters out, but it was making a huge impact the further it went away. So it's what is the smallest action that you can take that will make the greatest benefit. All right, and often it is about what's going on in here and what's going on in here. All right, really, really important. So why is it important to have commitment? Because it'll help us meet our end goal. And you know, I'm just having a look at some notes here because I've wrote an awful lot of notes today, and the end goal is to benefit you, which will then benefit the other people around you. All right, because if you're in a better place in your life, then you are in a better position to be able to support the other people around you. All right, really, really important. Okay, so that is just a little introduction to commitment. Next week, I'd love it if you could join me on the 6C, which is about consistency. All right, and what I've got coming up to help support you with your 7Cs to keeping your normal or keeping your sanity in is actually top 10 tips in keeping yourself sane. And this is a 10-week mini e-course that is going to be coming up in the next few weeks, and it's you know, talking about all the different things that I help my clients with, all the different things that I do to keeping my sanity. You know, as soon as it is on board, as soon as you can register, I'll let you all know so that you can get cracking on it, and to help you help yourself to be meeting your end goal. So I'm going to love you and leave you now, and if you've got any questions or queries, do pop them in the comments box, and I will answer them as soon as I can. But until next week, have a great evening and lots of love. Bye-bye.